Just say live. Okay. So I wanna I wanna live stream me approaching or tackling a challenge or a problem that someone posted on, I would say Stack Overflow, but it says stackengineering.stackexchange.com. And basically they're saying domain modeling of transportation module. All right. So the person says, I'm in the process of trying to model a transportation module for an ERP type system using C Sharp and EF Core. The service is responsible for managing customer pickups and company-owned truck deliveries. Customer pickups contain a list of orders, and trucks contain a list of stops, and those stops contain a list of orders. The primary interface for managing pickups and trucks is through a REST-based API. Order creation, update, cancellation events are being received from an ordering module via a service bus queue. Business rules. At order entry, an order is assigned an attribute to specify if it is a customer pickup or delivery via a truck. However, it is up to users within this transportation module to associate those orders to a specific pickup or truck stop instance. An order can be associated to only a single pickup or truck stop at a given time. Orders have properties which include a status and shipping metrics. Orders on the truck cannot exceed a certain volume or total weight. Order updates can be received at any time, even after a shipping assignment is made. Those updates can change the shipment type. Users decide to pick up orders versus having it shipped to them. Okay. I can't read this. Or order build, which would alter the shipping metrics. If shipping type is changed, orders should be unassociated to any current pickup or truck stop. Trucks have a status of open, in transit, closed, with each stop on the truck having a status of open or delivered. Users can mark a truck as in transit only if all orders have a status of produced. Once truck is in transit, users mark each stop as delivered once the delivery has been made. Only after all stops are marked as delivered can the truck status be updated to closed. If an order is canceled, it needs to be automatically removed from either the pickup or truck it may be associated to. And then it says we are using a relational database for storing individual entities. My question is really around how to model these various aggregate root, whatever domain server, whatever domain events, as well as the database tables backing them. And then he says he has initial thoughts. And someone provides what they think is the answer, but it's very, very textual. Okay. This is what I get off on. Let's dig into this. All right. And I probably won't be able to solve the whole thing, but this is where functional languages such as F sharp can, I would say, probably do a really good job compared to antique languages such as C sharp. So that's the first issue, is you're saying that you're using C sharp. Well, that's not the right tool for the job. All right. So let's break this down. If I just look at the business rules, an order is assigned, and that okay. This is the way I'm going to break it down. All right. My workflow has evolved where I used to focus on nouns. Now I'll focus on verbs. So specifically, I'm parsing these business rules, and I'm looking for the core operations that are described here, and that's all I care about. I only care about the core operations. Once once I can identify the core operations, then I can identify what uh, what those operations require in order for them to be successful. That exercise alone is going to flesh out the nouns, right? AKA the data types. So I'll show you what I mean in a second. So let me parse through this again. So the order is assigned to an attribute specified. Yep, don't care about that. However, it's up to users within this module to associate those orders to specific. No, don't care. An order can be associated to only a single. No, don't care. Orders have properties which include status. And no, don't care. Orders on a truck cannot exceed a certain value. No, don't care. Orders order updates can be received at any time, even after shipping. Don't care. Those updates can change the shipment type. Don't care. If shipping type is changed, orders should be unassociated to any current pickup or stop. Don't care. Trucks have a status of open, in transit, closed. Don't care. Users can mark a truck as in transit only. Don't care. Once the truck is in transit, blah, blah, blah. Don't care. If an order is canceled, it needs to automatically be removed from either the pickup or truck it may be associated to. Interesting, but don't care. All right. So, from the gist of this, it explains those bullet points explain the constraints, but it doesn't, in plain English, on a dedicated sentence, say what the core operation should be. At least I didn't parse it from there. Maybe I could read up here. The service is responsible for managing customer pickups and company-owned truck deliveries. Customer pickups contain a list of orders, and trucks contain a list of stops, and those stops contain a list of orders. All right, so I didn't see it in, I didn't see like a mission statement or anything like that, but we can just do, get rid of this right here. And in F sharp, we can just say module, and there's really like a couple domains, right? There's a truck pickup, and then there's at another project for customer order. Which just happened. That was weird. Had another project for customer order. Okay. And so we can say operations. And over here we can say operations. Okay. So what do we want to focus on first? Well, let's focus on the customer order. And where's, how do I say scope to this? Scope to this. Okay. Now here's the thing. When they publish this, they say transportation module. So I'm curious if a customer order is required, or if that's already done, and all they are really looking for is the the, the order fulfillment domain for the trucks that are going to handle the orders. Like that's my question: is, are we building a system that includes the entire like solution of, we need to model the customer making the request and what the response should be and what the status update should be, or are we only focused on the order fulfillment part and we don't care about how orders are generated and tracked? Because there's two different perspectives. There's a perspective of the customer, and then there's a the perspective of the courier, right? And there's also a perspective of the actual business too. So there's three. This, if I look at this, the business rules again, it looks like this is more oriented towards the courier. All right, so if we if we look at that, then let's ignore customer order because it looks like that's already done, and we can focus on the truck pickup. Okay. So we can say order fulfillment for our operations. The module name is order fulfillment, and then we can start declaring our types. So type is order received. Okay. Um, and it's going to the order received. That's not really an operation, right? That's more of a status update, right? Um, what you really want to do is you want to query orders. Okay. And query orders is usually going to be, well, who wants to query orders, right? And it might be a trucker, whatever. And query what type of orders. Well, it may be uh, it may be I wanted to say unfulfilled orders, but that means the orders can be started, right? In this case, it's query uh, unstarted orders, right? And it's going to take a trucker and it's going to return a async results of if it's successful in unstarted order. Um, let's say unstarted orders, and if it's not successful, then it'll just be an error. Okay. So this is the first operation that we're declaring for order fulfillment for truck pickup. All right. So now what, Willis? Well, now that we define the operation of query unstarted orders, um, I wonder if I could just say query new orders. But new orders isn't descriptive enough. Unstarted is. Okay. So once we do that, we need to define what a trucker is. We need to define what unstarted orders are, etc. Okay. So that's operations. Now I create another file or module. I'm going to call this my language. All right. And my language is going to have define what a trucker is. So say type trucker equals, and right now we're just going to have a to do. Okay. And somehow it accepts that, whatever. Uh, open language. Uh-oh, come here. Open language. Okay. And that trucker should be resolved now. We also need to define async result type. Async result. I'm going to take a T and it's going to take an error. Okay. And That's going to be a async um, results. It's going to take the T and error. I need to put lights on my keyboard, something like that. Okay. So now what will this? Well, trucker should be defined. Async result should be defined, and when I import language, that should be defined too. Disorder fulfillment file must begin with a namespace, or when using a module, get rid of this equal sign, and build. I'm not sure why this isn't working. Uh-oh, what just happened? Okay, so somehow I just lost the information that I just had. That was weird. All right, so I'll do it again. Right, type uh, query. I don't know if I called it unstarted orders equals, and then we'll do this one more time. Trucker, and then async result, which is going to be a unstarted order and error, something like that. Order. Okay. Open language. That's a little bit better. So now if we go back over here, type unstarted order equals, just say to do. Okay. And error, we need to define that. Type error equals string. Okay, that's going to be our error description. So query unstarted orders. I'll bump this up to 110. Query unstarted orders. Move it back down to 105. Query unstarted orders given a trucker, right? And maybe there should be a authenticated trucker. I don't know. And it's going to return a unstarted orders, right? Add an S there for plural, which means that unstarted orders needs to be this type, plural equals, and then say sequence like that. Okay. So now what? Let's build all this. And oh my God, something is wrong. I have, what the freak? I have, something's wrong. I have like two different files being referenced here. Hold up. Let's go to home and let's clean all this out. Let's rebuild and let's let's just unload this. Hold up. Where am I at? All right. So now for my truck pickup, query unstarted orders. Given no authenticated user, the result should be unstarted orders, or else it's going to be an error. Okay. Um, it will be a sequence of unstarted orders. So that's one operation. Uh, Another operation may be accept order request. And so that will also be a authenticated trucker. And that's going to be what specifically? Well, in this case, it is going to be, this is where things get a little bit different, right? So we're going to embed this authenticated trucker into a new type, and it's going to be accept order submission. Okay. And so that's really a command. And accept order submission is going to basically be type this right here. It can be a record type, and it's going to take an authenticated trucker. Uh-oh, go back. Authenticated trucker. And it's going to also take a unstarted order. Okay. Uh-oh. All right. And that's all we should care about right now. Okay. So the query unstarted orders, given the authenticated trucker, you get unstarted orders, except order requests by requiring or by providing a submission, okay, which is going to include your authenticated trucker and a unstarted order, right? You could also have a decline order request, which is this right here. Now, what we could do is this is all like really the same thing, right? Nothing's really changing here. So we can say we can change this to order action submission. And then we can have our response be some string, or we could just say response. And that response is going to be an abbreviation for a string. Okay. So we have an order action submission, or we could say order response submission. Go back. Order response submission. Okay. You like that? Yeah. All right. So now that we have that, accept order request, decline order request, and there may be a forfeit, right? Forfeit order request. Okay. And then there may also be a cancel. Once you accept, you should be able to cancel uh, accepted order. Cancel. Here's the thing. I'm trying to find the right name for it. Uh, cancel acceptance. Hmm, yeah, I think that's fine. And so then that's going to be a accepted order, right? So then you say, well, what's an accepted order, right? So then over here you say type accepted order is going to be a, it's going to be this right here. You know, it's going to at least have an authenticated trucker, and it's going to have a, wait for this, an order. Okay. So now we have an order, and we got to define what an order really is. Okay. So, um, we probably should, our unstarted order is this right here. We we probably need to have a type accepted order, which is going to be, it could be, I'll just make it to do. It could be a wrapper around unstarted order, but we know that an unstarted order is going to have a order ID. And we also, yeah, let me break this down some. It's going to have an order ID. And give me a second. We need to find the order ID right here. So type order ID equal order ID, or equal string. How about that? Okay. And That's all we care about right now. Okay. So then an accepted order is going to basically be a wrapper over an order ID. Okay. Now what? So we'll already have accepted order here. This should also have a authenticated trucker. Okay. So now we defined our accepted order already up here. Order ID, authenticated trucker. But honestly, an accepted order should not really have an order ID. It should have the order details in it, or AKA the actual order. So the actual order, same thing here. The actual order can be type order equals, and that's going to have your order ID, and then it's going to have a customer ID, customer ID, haven't created yet, but customer ID is going to be a string type, customer ID equals string. Don't let me get in my zone. What else is in the order right now? That's all we care. No, it's not. And so then you have items, or you could say manifesto. Is that what we call it? Hold up, let me go back over here. Order manifesto. I feel like this is a whole bunch of murder stuff. All right, go back. All right, so is an order a manifesto? Maybe, I don't know. We'll just, I'll remove manifesto from the domain terms, and I'll just say order is going to have it's going to have items, right? So then we say items, and so then we need to define type item, and a type item is going to have a item ID. Let's see, item ID is going to have a name. It's going to have a name, and it's going to have a description. It's going to have a description, and it's going to have a that's it right now. Okay, so that, so then over here you start creating type abbreviations. Type item ID equals string, and then type come here, name equals string, and then type description equals string. Okay, so now you got all that right here. Come here. All right, and like that over here. And you throw this over here. Yeah. All right. So then you need to have this notion of a type, item, quantity. All right. And then you do this over here. Yeah. And so your item quantity is going to have this notion of an item. Come here. And then it's going to have a quantity like that. And that quantity, yeah, I think it should be an int, right? It could be a float or something. And then we can have a conversation about smart constructors and is someone allowed to have 999,000 items in their manifesto, right? Hence, smart constructor to control that. So, yeah. So, what we really want is we have our items, but our items are really item quantity sequence. Or we can just, yeah. Mm, we'll call it item. I'm confusing the terminology. We'll call it item quantity, and then we'll create this type item quantities equals item quantity sequence like that. Okay, got an S. Wow. All right. So now what, Willis? Does everything still build? Everything still builds. All right. So now you can say, well, where did we leave off at? We have query unstarted orders, accept order request, decline order request, forfeit order request, cancel acceptance. All right, so all this stuff, order submission. If I drill down to order submission, we have unstarted order, blah 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 blah. I think we're okay for right now. Um, unstarted order should be an order, not an order ID. Uh, yeah, man. Yeah. Okay. So then cancel acceptance is an operation that requires an accepted order. You can only cancel an accepted order. An accepted order is the order in the authenticated trucker. I'll just change the ordering of this. Okay. Now, there's an unstarted order, and then there's a unstarted orders. There's two different types of orders. There's unstarted order, and then there's orders that are assigned to a authenticated trucker. But even though I'm identifying that, that's I'm not going to act on it because there's no operations that currently require me to differentiate those those two types, right? For lack of a better term, or to declare that alternative type. So if I don't have a requirement for it in my operations, then I don't need to do that. I don't need to put in that overhead that's going to increase complexity. So cancel acceptance. All right. So now what? You query orders. You accept order request. You decline order request. You forfeit order request. You cancel. All right. Those are some. But then what are some others? Well, we probably need to start breaking this down now to there's going to be a module for maybe before delivery. Okay. And there may be a module for uh, accepted. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Delivery, and that might be I don't know what I'm doing right now. Open language. Can I do this? Let foo equal. Can I do that? No. Looks like I need to start having stuff like that in here. Namespace. Uh, order fulfillment. Okay. Something like that. So now for accepted delivery module, you can, what just happened? Try this one more time. For accepted delivery module, you should be able to cancel acceptance. And we'll bring that in for right now. All right. Um, what else? When you accept a delivery, then you can, what are some of the other operations? There's definitely arrived. Um, there's a arrived at pickup. So then that's going to be a accepted order. Uh-oh, but then that leads us to what? We have a new type called pickup type. Pickup equals, and that is going to be an order ID, customer ID items. Yep, that's going to be an order. And what else? It's one would say that there will probably be a location in there, right? So, but we will say address. Okay, so now we go up here and we add an address. String. Okay. So now we have arrived at pickup. And when you, this arrived at pickup is, you want to think of all this as operations that you are either posting or querying from, in which the dependency for any of those operations are on or for an external system. So you post to a external system via a web service. You query uh, with a dependency on the external system, right? So when you arrive at pickup, you're pretty much posting that. Uh, so that would be a pickup. So this could be like a post. What do I want to do? I'll leave it alone right now. Pick up, and then your async result is same. Okay. So you cancel acceptance. You arrived at pickup. Okay. There may be another module in here called en routes. Um, Actually, I think this would be called en route because it means you accept it en route to pick up. That's the module name in which you could cancel, or you could say you arrived. And all this stuff is you are submitting to a database, or you're basically publishing this for others to handle or respond to. Okay. And so the next module over here is arrived. En route to pick up. No. You say en route. En route to drop off. And so over here, you can theoretically you could still cancel. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but it's something that you probably can still do. But you're not really canceling the acceptance. Well, yeah, you are. Yeah, I'll leave that here. I'll leave that there. This is duplicated, but it's still scoped. And then you can have this arrived at drop off. Okay. And so that will be a in this case, in order when you want to publish that you arrived at a drop off, you are basically saying that the order that you have is that right there, which also an accepted order should probably have the replace customer ID with pickup. Um, no, that's not right. Keep customer ID. Add pickup. Okay, and then pickup is going to host item quantities. And call this address. I feel like I already did this before. Okay, which means that you get rid of that right there. Now, where did I use address at before? Control Shift. Oh, okay, I didn't use it before. All right, that's fine. Yeah, I used it over here. Okay. Control Shift B, go back to my operations. So arrived at pickup. Here's the pickup address, item quantities. Okay. Arrived at drop off is going to be your this is still wrong. Your pickup, your item quantity should be in your order. Okay, it is. Got it. All right. So Mm-mm-mm-mm. Arrived at pickup requires, in order for you to do that, your order. All right, yeah, that's fine. Or should I say, en route to pick up, you arrived, en route to drop off. You can still cancel, but then you could also arrive at drop off when you want to publish that. That's your order. All right, and I think this is okay. Um, it's now we got to think about customer, right? So remove this, remove that, and our customer is going to be a type in which it's type customer equals customer ID, customer ID, and also they're going to have a address like that. Okay, so when you arrive at drop off, you're publishing the order, and then yeah, because you're publishing it, everything is a unit. You only get an alternative to a unit if you're doing any type of query. So Control Shift B, and so that's for starters. This is it. Um, if we notice, we have unstarted orders. All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it like that for right now. If I go back over here and look at the business rules, it says at order entry, an order is assigned to an attribute. At order entry, an order is assigned an attribute to specify if it is a customer pickup or delivery via a truck. I don't understand that. At order entry, an order is assigned an attribute to specify if it is a customer pickup or, oh, okay, I got it. So, well, all of this is delivery, okay? This is delivery fulfillment, okay? So that doesn't apply for this. Now, a customer order is different. If we reload customer order, then we can say that we say type place order equals, and then who can place an order? A authenticated customer. Okay. And then what? Well, then it's the actual order, right? So it's really a place order submission. So over here you add your language module, and over here you can say type place order submission equals, and then that's going to require an authenticated customer. For right now, I'm going to throw this over here, and we async result, and that's going to be a unit else a error. Okay. Place order submission requires authenticated customer, and It's going to be a, what am I doing? Place order submission. It's not a function type. We're in the language module, so it'll be a order. Okay. And I think we can use the same order here, order ID customer and pickup, but um yeah, this works. So now we probably need to have a core library. Next, and we could probably either call this core or call this shared. I'll call it shared. Uh, yeah, I'll call it shared. Whatever. Okay. And so this one I'll do 0 shared. Okay. And so this one will be called language. I spelled that wrong. Language. Okay. And so that language is going to, first of all, module shared, and then we can start throwing the types in here. So all this, just take all this, all of it. You know what, take that too. No, get rid of that. Take all this right here. And we can just throw it right here. Yeah, okay. And our truck pickup is now going to rely on this shared library. Okay. And so now theoretically we should just be, say, opened, shared, like that. Control Shift B. Why do I have all these errors now? For customer, we'll also reference shared. Okay, then we say open, shared. Okay, Control Shift B. Now what? For customer, there's a place order submission that I started on. And yeah, so now that can be open language and open shared. Okay. I thought shared had, let me go to the shared module. I thought shared had an error. It's this right here. Okay. All right there. This should all build and it still doesn't build yet. All right. So now what? Over here, open shared build. Okay. So now if we go back to our customer order operations, place order takes a place order submission in which it's supposed to have a authenticated customer. Authenticated customer. Okay. And so that is going to be type equal to do. All right. So let's go back to the requirements. At order entry, the order is assigned an attribute to specify if it is a customer pickup or delivery. All right, so place order submission will have a order, okay, and then it's really a order request type. So the type order request equals, and then that is going to be, this is where things get fuzzy. It's it could be a record or maybe not, or it could just be a pickup or delivery like that. But when we say pickup, we mean a customer pickup, right? Or it could be a request delivery. So then you have this notion of a we'll comment this out because right now I'm making all this JSON friendly. So then you could say order request type equals a string, right? And that is going to be a that's going to be that right there. Um, say example like that. Okay. So then we add this in here. Order request type equals, and then we put that in here. So at order entry, order is assigned an attribute to specify if it is a customer pickup or delivery via truck. So maybe I should say that is truck delivery. Okay. Because I'm trying to stay with the terms customer pickup or delivery via truck. So that's why I changed it to customer pickup, truck delivery. All right. So an order can be associated to only a single pickup or truck stop at a given time. It can be associated to only a single pickup or truck stop at a given time. Okay. I'm not sure. I don't think that means anything right now. Um, that would be customer doesn't care about that. The delivery fulfillment would be concerned about that. But right now, you accept an order request or truck stop at any given time. You have to an accepted order. Yeah, it only has a single authenticated trucker. Right now, it only relies on one trucker anyway. Okay. So a trucker can be trucker ID, something like that. Trucker ID would be something like that. Okay. So that should be fine. Orders have properties which include a status and shipping metrics. So orders have properties which include a status and shipping metrics. I'm not sure what that means. I know what shipping metrics is. Well, I think I have an idea, and they say it right here: dimensions and weight. So that would be an item. So we could say we can add weight equals, what would probably be a float, right? So type weight equals float. And they were saying that dimensions, right? So type dimen dimensions equals, I'm just gonna make it a string. Uh, well, technically, it's okay. If I look at dimensions, it could be a tuple, right? So I could say dimensions, measurement of the size of something, such as length, width, height, or diameter. Length, width, or height. So dimensions will have length, uh, float, and then width, float, and then height, float, right? I say float, but it could be it could be uh, type inches equals float, like that. And so then we can have this right here, but it's on a truck, right? So it'll probably be feet, and you could just use decimal, or say meters. I'll leave feet right here. So item is going to have dimensions on it. That okay. Go back. Go back. And so then, did I add weight on here? No. Wait. All right. So then, orders on the truck cannot exceed a certain volume or total weight. Order updates can be received at any time, even after a shipment assignment is made. Those updates can be those updates can change the shipment type. User decides to pick up order versus having it shipped to them, or order build, which would alter the shipping metrics, or order build, which would alter the shipping metrics. If shipping type is changed, order should be unassociated to any current pickup or truck stop. If shipping type is changed, orders should be unassociated to any current pickup or truck stop. All right. So a customer supposedly can change an order. Yeah, I was looking at this. Hold up. I was looking at this right here, by the way. So a customer can change an order, and if the customer changes the order, then it is no longer assigned to anybody, and it goes back in the queue. So change order. Uh, I think uh, order updates can be received at any time, even after a shipping assignment is made. Those updates can change to shipment type or order build. Which okay. So change order is another operation in which um, change order can be two things. It can either be changing it from I want to pick this up to I want this delivered, or I want this delivered to I want to pick this up, to now I want to order some more stuff, or I want to remove some items that I previously ordered. So change uh, change order fulfillment. I'm not sure. That doesn't sound like a cool name though. Change acquisition plans. I can't spell acquisition. How do you spell acquisition? For here. So change acquisition. Uh, change acquisition plans. Or you could say update acquisition plans. I'll leave it at change, and that's essentially the place order submission, but it's no longer place order submission. Now we have a new type that's going to be called change acquisition submission. So that's going to basically be a wrapper of the order submission, in which the order request type, call this new request, or we'll call it new acquisition. Do that. Um, and yeah, I think we just want to call that acquisition type. do that. We'll up here call it acquisition type, like that. Okay. New acquisition request. That right there. Okay. So we handled that requirement. At least I think we did. And so the next one is trucks have a status of. Well, hold up. No, we didn't. Once they change it, it becomes a new order, right? So this change acquisition. Get rid of that. Get rid of plans. Change change acquisition. Um, it's now going to take this change acquisition submission, and it's just going to do that. Okay. What else? We still have to handle for the truckers perspective when they're before delivery. This will declare another type called acquisition acquisition changed. Um, and so then that will be that will be basically this type right here, and that can go in shared. Okay. Maybe not. I take that back. I don't want because that requires a place order submission going to shared too, and I don't think that should be shared. Um, but what I can do is just duplicate this. And I understand that violates do not repeat, but I don't want to bring in the entire jungle for just this one type because I don't think place order submission should be shared between a trucker and a customer. They both shouldn't have access to that type. So we'll put this in the language for truck pickup, in which we'll say change acquisition. We'll say order acquisition changed. Change. And then it'll be a order, order, and then acquisition type, type, acquisition type equals string, like that. Okay. So then going back, we'll have now how does this work? For a trucker, they're getting a notification that an acquisition has changed. They're not posting anything. Um, and so this isn't really, let me see, but for 1 second, like this, this doesn't really belong here because it's not an operation. It's an event that occurred. Okay. So that would really be a Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. It's an event. I'm not sure how to really model that in here. I think there's like a type. How do I do this? Type incoming notification, something like that. Then I think there's like a abstract member. Uh, I don't know. Acquisition changed. And then it's supposed to be something like that. Um, this is supposed to be an event, and it's a acquisition. Uh, it's something like this, right? So I don't know how to do that. And let me see real fast if I can hurry up and find that out. So F sharp uh, event on interface, and they have a where's the interface at? They have it right here. Okay, this is way too complicated. Hold up, let me go back over here. And they have it over here. So I'm just going to take this. I'm just going to lump it right here. Okay. And I'm going to take this and say this is, comment that out, and then say event is order acquisition changed. And then there's a order acquisition right there. Yeah, that right there. Um, okay, apparently I can't do that. Wants me to keep event arcs. Uh, put it right here. And can I do that? Nope. This, maybe I could do this right here. Uh, 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 okay. And then there's this, I don't know what my event is. I'm almost there. Hold up. My event was to let. Oh, okay. That's this right here. And then this is interface. Uh, Something like that. Just over here. And all that compiles. This is this right here. And it doesn't like that. Why don't you like that? That right there. That right there. All right, so it looks something like this. Okay. It should probably throw this in its own type, uh, but um, is a module can a module encompass a type? Let me see. Or I could maybe do something like this, and then see. This is me being sloppy, in which I say that handle change of how order is acquired. Then say I, and then parentheses, I.e, um, pick up or delivery, something like that. Okay, so everything's still built. It should build. Everything still builds. Okay, so then if I go back to their thing, if I go back to customer, customer is change acquisition submission. Okay, fine. And then order updates can be received at any time, even after a shipment is made. Oh yeah. So something else I still need to handle is when when this occurs, um, when when that occurs, there's probably a separate module here. So there's probably a module and say order queued. Okay. So for order queued module, you can oh, what's the difference between order queued and before delivery? Uh, you could say new order waiting, new order pending. And for a new order pending, then you can accept, decline, or request, or accept, decline, or forfeit, like that. Okay. This is this is this module. If you just want to query unstarted orders, then this would be like your dashboard, or you could call this general. You could call this common. Okay. And then for new order pending, you can accept, you can accept, decline, or forfeit. Forfeit is timeout. And for an accepted order, for an accepted order module, you could cancel acceptance, or you arrived at pickup, and then there's a incoming request that order acquisition changed. When that happens, then that is really not a operation of the trucker, right? That's an operation of the of a dispatcher, which is a completely different uh, domain. So now you have a order dispatcher, and that order dispatcher is going to have some responsibilities of, first of all, we should call this operations. That order dispatcher is going to have a type called uh, dispatch. Dispatch trucker. Or you could say dispatch order. Or you could say query orders. Now, the question is, what's the difference between query unstarted order? Well, that's for an authenticated trucker, right? So this one is for order dispatcher. It's going to be dispatch trucker with what? With an order. Add a reference to our share, and probably should say open shared. Let me go back. Dispatch trucker order, and it's going to be a async results of unit and then error, something like that. Okay. So now we need to figure out our language. And our language is going to be a order dispatch. Okay. And so here, say open shared, and then we can say type order dispatch equals, then you could say a trucker, whatever a trucker is, and then order, or you could say this is a request trucker submission, and then you can have a type trucker equals, then you have a trucker ID is a trucker ID, and so then you could say type trucker ID equals string, something like that. So now you have a dispatch trucker request trucker submission. If you open language, okay, and that should work. If you open language, that should work. All right, so that's caught. So is it dispatch trucker, or you could say, yeah, I'll call that dispatch trucker submission. All right, and that's going to be a trucker and then order, whatever. So then you can also have a type called available truckers, and that's going to be basically I mean, it could be the same thing, right? It'll be an order, and this is a available truckers request, like that. Something like that, right? And so the dispatcher will also have a uh, what did I call it over here? It was something called a acquisition change or order acquisition changed, right? And so here, this is notify order acquisition changed. Okay. And that's the dispatcher's job. So they're going to take this order acquisition change type. And that's going, where'd I go? Go back. Go back. And that's just going to be a async result because they're just notifying. Um, so this is a order acquisition type. So this right here can go into shared. Got to have my colons line up. Okay. So then if I go into shared language, put that right there and throw my type abbreviation up top. Control Shift B, go back to my operations for order dispatcher, and this is going to work by not only updating the the trucker. Well, it says that when it changes, order updates go. Those updates can change the shipment type. User decides to pick up order versus having it shipped to them, or order build, which would alter the shipping metrics. If shipping type is changed, order should be unassociated to any current pickup or truck stop. So it looks like this notify order acquisition change. Um, it looks like it still needs to be a trucker. They still need to notify a trucker of the change. But then, in addition to that, they need to. I'm not sure if this is the dispatcher's job, but it needs to cancel the order. It needs to cancel the order. Um, and honestly, when it cancels the order, it doesn't need to notify the trucker that an acquisition changed. The trucker doesn't need to know. Yes, they do because they need to. No, they don't. They don't need to know. They just need to. They just need to understand that. Get rid of that. The trucker just needs to know that it's been canceled. Right. So notify canceled order. All right, that's dispatcher. So then that will be a That would be a, I don't see it in here right now, but it'll be a order cancellation wherever that's at. So type order cancellation, and then that is going to have the order order, and it may have a reason, maybe. So then we go back up here, and that's just going to notify the trucker that it was canceled. And so then I could change that to from order acquisition change to order canceled. And over here, do that. And over here, order canceled. And I order canceled. Something like that. So we do a notify canceled order. I'm going to say notify the cancel order. And there's a convert convert uh what is this called? It was called earlier a notify acquisition change or order acquisition changed, right? So I want to take advantage of that naming convention. Convert cancel order, or you could say change order acquisition. There you go. And so that's going to take an order cancellation, and good stuff. That's going to take a order cancellation and take the new order. Okay. So over here, say I don't need this. Whatever. Type. This would be a acquisition. I can't spell. Change. Order acquisition change. And that would be a order that was canceled. And we take the acquisition type, put it right here. Okay, so now we have an order acquisition change, and that's really a submission. Let me update the make sure I have the naming conventions right. And that's wrong. Okay. And make that submission. Okay. And that right there. So this change order acquisition right here takes a order canceled submission or an order cancellation, and it will, yeah. I don't think I need all this. I don't think I need to do. You need a order cancellation receipt. You need an order cancellation receipt when you cancel order. Um, so a dispatcher cancels an order cancellation submission, and then they'll get an order cancellation receipt. So that is type order cancellation receipt. And it's the same thing. And there might be a cancellation ID. Something like that, maybe. So then go up here, say type equals string, and that compiles, right? So your change order acquisition now has an order acquisition change submission, which is a receipt and acquisition type. Good stuff. All right. So everything builds. If I go back to the requirements, trucks have a status of. No, hold up. Did I really address that? Change order acquisition is going to result in what? Is going to result in a. Should be a new order. So if I go to my truckers, there should be a unstarted order. There we go. Okay. So this change order acquisition should take a order acquisition change submission, and the result should be a unstarted order. And An unstarted order needs to be shared, no longer a trucker anymore. So we take that and we go to our shared over here. And I don't know, I'm just gonna throw it right here. Um, so now that builds. Okay. Anything else? If we go back over here, it says so we just handled this. If shipping changed, order should be unassociated to any current pickup or truck stop. Trucks have a status of open, in transit, and closed, with each stop on the truck having a status of open delivered. So trucks have a status of open, in transit, and closed. Okay. So what does that mean for this? Well, if we go to our truck pickup, um, if you want to accept an order, the trucker the trucker needs to be open. So we have authenticated trucker. We need to have a opened trucker that's going to be this, right? So an open trucker can accept orders, right? So order response submission is going to be a open trucker. Um, or should I say, yeah, if you make illegal states unrepresentable, only open truckers should even have the ability to respond. Uh, so I don't know if accepted order is even referenced anywhere. Yeah, it is. Um, can a should only an open trucker be able to cancel an acceptance? The answer is no. It should be a well, to accept the order, yes, but to accepted order. No, I'll change this back. If I go to accepted order and see how it's being used, okay. So order response submission is open trucker, decline, open trucker. All right, so that's fine. Everything should build. If I go back over here, trucks have a status of open, in transit, and closed. All right, so if I go to, I'm still in my trucker operations. Let's start closing some of this out. In regards to accepted, mm, if they arrived at a pickup, then it can only be a not only is it an order, but it's a in transit in transit. So if you arrived at your order, this hmm, this needs to be a in transit. Okay, and your in transit is going to be a type that will type in transit. No, is it IN or EN? Because in route is EN. In transit is IN they have. Okay. In transit, and so that's going to have a order order. But now it's going to have um, a trucker can be open in transit or closed. So this would be a trucker, indicated trucker. That. So now if I go back over here, arrived at pickup in transit. Okay. And so they're also saying close with each stop on the truck having status of open or delivered. So if I go back to operations for a trucker, accept order, when they arrived at pickup, they must be in transit. Then all this over here is notifications en route to drop off. Um, is an accepted order. Arrived at pickup needs to be in accepted order. Okay. So this is accepted order like that, which is a when you do accepted order, we need to remove the authenticated trucker. Um, I don't know about that. We'll keep that. There's there's different types of truckers, right? So I guess this could be a well, you can have a authenticated. Oh, fuck. You have a trucker that is of trucker status. Um, so your trucker status is going to be a type trucker status equals. And then it could be a uh, one was in transit of in here. All right, we actually need to bring this. So we need to make this module rec language, and then just, well, I guess now we could just leave this here of in transit like that. Okay. So one was in transit, the other one was, I thought, completed of, and then I could say completed, and that would just look like this right here. Um, and then the other one was open, in transit, and closed. So open of, I don't know, is it open trucker? Open trucker is just authenticated. Okay. In transit is accepted order, completed. Okay. So that right there. Why do I have this? Because an accepted order can have any of the trucker states, and all these have an order attached to it. So I don't need this. Okay. Control Shift B. Anything else? En route to drop off. Arrived at drop off order. We're publishing arrived at drop off, right? They're going to be sending that on a device, whether the device is mounted on their dash or on their phone. So arrived at drop off should really have a you should be in transit if you're going to do that. It's kind of like a state machine. So you could say type arrived at drop off submission equals, now it's going to be a in transit trucker order. I don't know what to put here. There's if you arrived at a drop off, then you must be a, oh god, open trucker. Let's rename this to in transit trucker. Rename this to completed trucker. Okay. So over here, my abstractions are effed up right now. All right, for a completed trucker, there shouldn't be a status anymore. There should be a, well, accepted order. Uh, an accepted order is going to have a order status. Okay, so I don't need this. In transit, same thing here. Um, I feel like this is something's not right. If you're in transit, then get rid of this. Um, it should just be in order. But we have accepted order. Okay, change accepted order. Change accepted order to accepted order open trucker. Accepted order. This trucker status isn't working. Um, there's an accepted order. How about this? And then transit order. That's probably what it is. Which means that it's going to be a in transit trucker. And there should be a completed order. Should be a completed trucker. Something like that. Um, Now, a completed trucker it should just be order and trucker. Something like that. Same thing here. And when they say arrived at drop off submission, then it is a in transit trucker. something like that. And I mean, it builds. If I go back to my operations, accepted order, when you want to cancel acceptance, right? But and it's you can only you should be able to cancel regardless. So I don't even know if trucker status is even being used anymore. No references, right? So when you want to cancel an order, you should be able to be in any of these three states. Um, Go up here and cancel acceptance. It should now be type. This is where I'm getting sloppy now. Foo equals, and we say in transit trucker of in transit trucker, completed trucker. Well, you can't cancel if you completed it. Um, but there should be an open trucker, right? Those two. So all this cancelable. I don't know if you could. No, I don't think that's a word, but cancelable. Okay, it looks like it's okay. So you could say cancelable order, and then you could pass that into your there we go. That right there. Ride that pickup in transit trucker, and then en route to drop off, you can still cancel acceptance when you're en route. So that's also a in transit trucker. Um, and then arrived at drop off is a in transit trucker. Okay, which means that I should probably name this en route to uh in transit. Okay. And yeah, okay. So now if I go back over here to this, they say users can mark a truck as in transit only if all orders have a status of produced. Users can mark a truck as in transit. Who are users? User a customer? Is user a trucker? Only if all orders have a status of produced. So, okay. So, in order to in order to even have this, there's a type called um, prepare, or you could say begin in transit. Or you could say engage in transit, engage in transit. Or you could say start in start in transit. Maybe that's the best one. So you could say start in transit. And what do you need for that? You need all the orders to be marked as produced. Uh, orders produced. And it's only there you can get your uh, in transit trucker. Okay, this in here. So in order to get orders produced, um, it says that all orders have a orders produced. Okay, have a status of produced. So there needs to be a on the order. There needs to be a status supposedly. Um, we could do that, or we could just say over here type order produced, and that's going to be a wrapper over order like that. We could have status over here. Status. This is going to be some string. Call it order status. So then you have type order status equals string. Okay. But your order produced is when they say that users can mark a truck as in transit only if all orders have a status of produced. Okay. So now that we have a order produced, that means that our in transit is going to. Was that in my shared one? Yeah, that's in my shared. So this should now get updated, and it doesn't. Why don't you get updated? Why don't you get updated? Hold up. This is in my shared. Yeah, you should be found. Okay. Now, for an in-transit trucker, it should be an order produced. For a completed trucker, that should be an order produced. Order respond. Okay. And that's fine. Okay, so do that. So then they say once truck is in transit, users mark each stop as delivered. Once the delivery has been made, only after all stops are marked as delivered can the truck status be updated to closed. Okay. So operations, there's this cancel acceptance, arrived at drop off, in transit. Okay. They're saying that in order to saying that there's another stage where it's uh, orders completed, right? And so here you could say they're saying, I don't know, users must mark each step as delivered once the delivery has been made. All right, so before we even get to orders completed, there's a delivered here type delivered, and that's going to be a in transit trucker that will return this, and it says that users can mark a truck as in transit only if all orders have been produced. Once the truck is in transit, mark each stop as delivered once the. All right, so this is a. Um, we'll call this claim delivered. And this will be a order delivered. Okay. And this is similar to order produced. Which we have type order delivered, and that will be a. In order to deliver order, you have to produce it. And so it'd be something like, I'll leave it order produced, something like that. Which means that there should probably be a order en route as well. or in transit is the term that they use. And you can only do that with a order produced. Order delivered can only be done when the order is in transit. That so when they say that they um, arrived at pickup, they can really say this could really be leaving. You could say in transit to drop off, which means that you've already arrived at pickup and you're on your way to the customer. So that would mean that it's in transit order, right? In transit to drop off. But this is, we should change this to in transit to pickup order, and then there should be an in transit to drop off order. Oh, no, hold up. Oh, shoot. Pickup order. There should be in transit to drop off order. So you would think that something would, okay, here we go. So in transit to drop off order. That's wrong. So start in transit, order produce, in transit trucker, and then it's in transit to drop off is given the trucker that has an order. You have a in transit to drop off order. That looks fine to me. Um, but it's not in transit to drop off. It's in transit to pick up. Okay, that's better. And then when you so this is in transit to pick up. It's right here. And then down here, there should be a in transit to drop off, in which it's this right here. Transit to, and this matches module up here, which is probably going to throw an error. And that is in transit to drop off order. Okay. So in order to do a claim delivered, you have an in-transit trucker. But that's not enough. You have to have in-transit trucker to drop off. Um, so you have some like in-transit to drop off trucker. And so then this order in transit. There should probably be in order to pick up. And okay, so if we go over here, in transit trucker, there should be a in transit pickup trucker. Okay. Um, so this should be, oh, this right here. Build and trying to drop off. This is in transit to drop off trucker right there. This right here should be a cancellation receipt. Okay. Um, what else? Claim delivered is in transit to drop off trucker and order delivered. Or you could say, yeah, that's fine. And when it says once the truck is in transit, uses mark each stop as delivered. I think I did that. Only after all stops are marked as delivered can the truck status be updated to close. So for orders completed, there's a type truck status. Or you could say, yeah. You could say notify closed. Or you could say closed truck. How about that? So then that's going to take a, what they were saying is once the truck is in anywhere, you stop. only after all stops are marked as delivered. So this would be a close truck submission. It's a closed truck submission, and over here it's he's distracting me. Go back. And so for a closed truck submission, I need to create a type closed truck submission, and that needs to be a sequence of orders closed, of orders what do you call these? Is order produced? Is it order completed? Operation was when they claim delivered. When they claim delivered, it was order delivered. Okay, okay. So we have orders closed. I don't like that. I say orders delivered. Oh no. No. We'll make that order closed. We'll use the naming conventions that they used. So for where am I at? For closed truck submission, you have this right here, and that is a sequence, which means that how do I make this one? How do I make this with illegal unrepresentable? You have once the truck receives orders. Fuck. Let me look back at this mission over here. It says once the truck is in transit, users mark each stop as delivered. Once the delivery is made, only after all stops are marked as can the truck be updated to be closed. So it sounds like when the truck is en route, it never ever takes new orders. It started, it's packed up initially, and then it just removes without any incur. So made the all right. So sooner you have a trucker, authenticated trucker. You have a in transit trucker, in which you have you really have a current order. And then you have all orders. Well, current order, all orders. Or you could just have orders. And this would be hold up. This would be a order produced sequence. So you will also have all right, so one is orders produced, the other one is orders closed. So how's this work? Orders produced. And then we'll have a orders closed. And yeah, so then a completed trucker has a orders closed. Here, over here. This is completed trucker has I don't know why this has I'm gonna ignore this. Let's say orders closed. This order delivered is going to be if you close truck, then it's order closed. I don't think that's right. You have closed truck submission, you have orders closed, and then you have a closed truck receipt if it is successful. Type. Um, and that's just going to be your closed orders. Do that. I mean, that's the gist of it. Once truck is in transit, you just mark each stop as delivered. Once a delivery has been made, only after all stops are marked as delivered can the truck status be updated to closed. If an order is canceled, it needs to automatically be removed from either the pickup or truck it may be associated to. Okay, so that's it. I'm about to dump all this in here. So let me do a screenshot of this. Uh, Pasting in my solution. Um, so here, say, how can I? Okay, there we go. So add the picture. While that's being added, then I can say that there's a customer order operations, but I call it order fulfillment. And that's not right. So I say customer order. Will it still build? Yep. So here's customer order, or I say module customer order. Not right there. And I do this. Okay. And so this is customer order dot operations maybe. So maybe I just do customer order dot operations, and then customer order dot language is this right here. Customer order dot language. This. So then I do a order dispatcher dot operations. Then I say, oh, hold up, this needs to be do that. And this needs to be called, this should be probably called namespace order, and then module is operations, something like that maybe. So if I go back, then I can do this right here. Okay, so that was customer order. Then order dispatcher is this right here. Should probably say this is namespace order dispatcher, and then say module operations. And that, that. So then I have order dispatcher operations. I'll do that right there. And then I have order dispatcher language. That's this right here. So then I have a trucker. Here's the main one. So we'll call this trucker. We'll call this trucker operations. Uh-oh, something's not right. Hold up, go back down. It's not happening. Hold up. Do that. Then do trucker.language. That. Then there's just shared language, which is this right up here. Shared language. Do that. There. Okay. So now, boom, 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 boom. So then I could give my dissertation on So here's how I would model the subdomains. Here's how I would model Here's how I would model subdomains, and I would say I usually approach, I usually decompose business requirements into functional uh, into I usually decompose business requirements into core operations. Once I have established, or once I have identified the core operations that the business requires, I then categorize the operations identified. I then identify the subdomains that the operations are likely to belong to. So I suppose subdomains. So here's how I would write. Here's how I would domain model this. I usually decompose business requirements into core operations. Once I have identified the core operations that the business requires, once I identify those core operations, I then identify the subdomains that those operations are likely. I then identify the subdomain for the operations housing the hosting operation that will host those operations. Mm-hmm. No, I prefer to identify operations first because it's easier for me to identify what types are required in order for operations to succeed. Have provided following model given the description of the domain. So here's how I would domain model this. I usually decompose business requirements into core operations. Once I have identified those core operations, I then identify the subdomains that would host those operations. Note, I prefer to identify operations first because it's easier for me to identify what types are required in order for those operations to succeed. I have provided the following model given the description of the domain. So, and then I could give a dissertation on how I believe that the programming language matters. No. No. C sharp. Oop. Languages such as C sharp or Java are general, or I should say, just because group languages such as C sharp or general purpose languages doesn't mean that they are ideal languages for modeling domains. Thus, I sincerely believe that F sharp that statically op that statically typed FP languages are a natural fit for modeling business domains in a clear in regards to clarity and in regards to clarity. Just because OOP language is such a for modeling business domains. Please spell terseness due to terseness. and information density. In regards to data persistence, I don't think SQL, a relational database, is the ideal tool. I would use an event store. Oh, yeah, I would use an event store, i.e., immutable database in which no data can accidentally be accidentally can be accidentally overwritten. I can't spell overwritten. Overwritten. How do you spell accidentally? I would use an event store, immutable database in which no data, in which data cannot be overwritten, cannot be overwritten or deleted. After all, this domain is about capturing and acting on historical domain events. After all, this domain is about capturing and acting on historical domain events. I provided the following model given the description of the domain. Okay. So let's say here's how I would domain model this. I usually decompose business requirements into core operations. Once I have identified those core operations, I then identify the subdomains that will host those operations. Note, I prefer to identify operations first because it's easier for me to identify what types are required in order for those operations to succeed. Note, just because OOP languages such as C# or Java are general purpose languages, or general purpose, I should say general purpose, um, general purpose doesn't mean that they are ideal languages for modeling business domains. Thus, I sincerely believe that statically typed FP languages are a natural fit for modeling business domains due to enhanced due to concise due to conciseness. Can I say conciseness? Is that a word? Due to conciseness and due to, I'll just say information density. Due to less syntax along with information density, along with more information density. In regards to data persistence, I don't think a relational database is ideal. I would use an event store in, i.e., immutable database, because so that data cannot be overwritten or deleted. After all, this domain is about capturing and acting on. It's about operating on historical domain events that should never be updated or deleted. Only appended. Instead, barely appended. But um okay. And so then I have provided the following. Okay. So then that I like it. I'm missing. Something's not right. Mm, oh, okay, that's why. So I'll post this. I'll update my Twitter. No one's observing me, right? Oh shoot, someone said hi. I'm sorry, I wasn't even looking. Hi. Sorry about that. And so then I'll go to Twitter and I'll say that right there. Say my attempt to domain model truck delivery order full. Let's say truck delivery. And then I'll just say pound C#, pound Java. I'll just do that. All right, I'm turning this thing off. I'm done.